Let's get to Reddit because shares there are surging after reporting revenues surging at 48% from a year ago in its first earnings release as a public company. Ad revenue alone soared 39%. The social media platform also giving revenue projections here for the current quarter that are well above the street's expectations. You're looking at Reddit now up just about 5%. Since the start, though, of trading, when you take a look at that max chart, you've got shares up just about 11%. So here we are today above 51 bucks a share. For more on these results, we want to bring in Mark Shmulik. He's Bernstein Internet Equity Research Analyst joining us now. Mark, it's good to see you. So talk to us just about this print because it looks like, at least at first glance, there is certainly a lot to like within this report. You, though, don't seem to be convinced. Why?
Yeah, first, thanks for having me. And it was objectively a great first report or print out of the door for Reddit now as a public company. And the top line numbers look great. You know, revenue growth growing well above expectations, led by ad growth, which is what you want to see. And engagement growth or user growth is also kind of very strong. And so near term, we really like it as kind of a tactical play. I think they have some very easy compares. What we're starting to see is that there's just a really robust digital ad market at the moment. Management on the call last night shared, this is kind of one of the best brand markets for brand ad spend since 2022. And you've seen it reflected elsewhere. Pinterest, Snapchat, seeing this massive acceleration in advertising growth. And on the engagement front, a lot of that engagement has actually been driven by logged out users. So anybody who's been on Google has probably seen Reddit blue links show up more and more. It's good to get those users. They're probably slightly lower calorie users. That's been the biggest bulk of kind of their engagement growth. And, as we know that over the longer term, those are just tougher users to monetize.
Yeah, you're probably talking about me, Mark. I sometimes forget my password to Reddit, but don't tell any of the scammers out there that. Anyway, all these things considered, where is the biggest growth opportunity for Reddit right now? I mean, re-engaging with some of those users, as you were just mentioning a moment ago, but also on the monetization, it's more than just a platform where they've got to be able to have advertisers that are willing to run campaigns. There are other efforts that they need to put forward to monetize, right?
That's right. And so first is you want to bring advertisers onto your platform. So you need to have something to sell. So they've been building out kind of a suite of ad products, some of which look really similar to what we've seen elsewhere. We heard management last night talk about potentially getting into search ads. There's a lot of on-platform search behavior, video ads, which are certainly very popular right now across TikTok, Meta, YouTube, et cetera. So there's more products that they can bring to the table. And then beyond advertising, they do have the big AI data licensing deal with Google. There's a few other smaller ones that they've kind of mentioned. So there's, kind of call it a platter of monetization opportunities ahead of them here.
What type of additive do you think the AI and because of user generated content and data that takes place on the platform, as we were discussing earlier, really exhibiting that human realm of conversations, what type of additive do you think that could be over time to the revenue, to the bottom line for this company?
Yeah, it's a good question. And so far the biggest deal is obviously the Google one to kind of ingest that real human, kind of data into some of those generative AI, the Gemini results. And I think we'll see, if Google sees real value in it, that it helps kind of create more authenticity in the responses, not who can kind of scam the algorithm the best or flood the algorithm the best to kind of deliver whatever results they want. We'll see if the others kind of come on board. And I think that's one marker we're watching to see, does OpenAI get involved and do a licensing deal? Does Meta with Llama do a deal? Does Anthropic? And so, we'll see how valuable this data is if we see the other big foundational model builders follow suit.
Mark, talk to me just about what it would take for you to be a bit more bullish on this day. And when you take into account what we're learning from this report, it seems as though, although maybe too early to call, that it's almost turned a corner here in terms of profitability, what that timeline looks like. It looks like user engagement, though, is still there. What do you need to see in order to be more convinced?
Yeah, I think the truth quarter, as I call it, it's going to really start in the third quarter, where you start lapping the change to kind of the Google algorithm. The compares get a little bit tougher from a monetization ramp perspective. And then we'll see, how kind of real and durable some of their efforts are that are underway. Can they actually take some of these logged out users and convert them to being more, kind of consistent, engaging users? Can they know enough about the users to be a valuable medium for advertisers to deploy, ad dollars, not just for top of funnel kind of brand campaigns, but real, commercial intent driving purchasing behavior type of ads? And then we'll also see if any of those follow through AI deals show up. And so, we're watching it closely, and I think they've got another quarter at least ahead of them with, with probably very solid results on the table. And we'll see in the second half of the year of, whether some of the more challenging efforts that are required for me to get more constructive at this price show up.
For investors that are even looking out to that third quarter, as you were mentioning here, what are some of the dynamics that we could see play out on a Reddit as a result of an event like a general election season?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because generally speaking, during an election season, brand campaign platforms tend to do quite well. You've seen it in the past with YouTube, as the election-based advertising is not an insignificant number. We'll see how valuable kind of the Reddit base is. It's certainly not the core Reddit advertiser today. And so it's kind of 50-50. It might be a platform where they'll actually see the influx of political-based ads show up as well. Or it could go the other way where, kind of their current advertisers tend to pull back during an election cycle because it does tend to get dominated, by kind of political-based ads.
Mark Shmulik, who is the Bernstein Internet Equity Research Analyst. Mark, always a pleasure to speak with you and get some insights.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.